Hello and welcome. You know, relationships are easy to start, but maintaining them and transitioning from just relationship to marriage is actually the challenge that most people face. Because when you begin the process, you begin to realize that there is more to it than just what we will call chingom boyfriend and chingom girlfriend. It is easy to meet somebody and say, I like you. But transiting from that process, that point rather, to the point of I want to live with you for the rest of my life, those are two different levels of commitment. And it will require understanding, it will require knowledge, it will require character adjustment, and even vision repositioning to make it possible. Bottom line, it will require a great deal of sacrifice. Well, many people do enter this relationship without understanding these requirements. But well, I'm hoping that at the end of this episode, you will see the need to revisit the foundation of the relationship you are in. Today, we will be breaking down the key principles of managing any relationship and taking it from just mere relationship to marriage. What you are to expect in this particular episode is what to expect in relationship, what to avoid, and how to ensure your love story leads to a strong, successful marriage. Welcome to Core TV. I am your host, Amber Treasure, and I look forward to this journey together as we lay the right foundation for transiting from relationship to marriage. Thank you for tagging along. Well, understanding the purpose of relationship must be the foundation to start from. Because if you don't know a thing, you will abuse it. It is said that when the purpose of something is not known, abuse is inevitable. So when you don't know the purpose of relationship, the likelihood of abusing it is very, very plausible. So what is relationship? And why should any person go into relationship? I will have to refer to scriptures, the Bible now, because it was in scriptures in Genesis chapter 2 that God Almighty Himself said, it is not good that man should be alone. Now, that scripture does not really limit itself to marriage or male and female relationship. It is not good for any human being to be alone. Like it is said, whatever is left alone is left to the devil. Even this building that I'm sitting in, if it is not occupied in the next 10 years, you will find out it will start naturally crumbling by itself because it needs relationship. It needs people to activities within it to keep it alive. So relationships are not things you just enter because you just are emotional. There are things you have to enter with understanding. And God said it is not good that any human being, not just a male, any human being should be alone. But for the mere purpose of male and female relationship, we need to clarify that it was God was saying that about a female being introduced into the life of a male. There is a reason for that. What transforms from relationship to marriage is intentional. Everything God does is intentional. So if you want to move your relationship, just meeting somebody for the first time, and you want to build that up to the point where you can say, I am married to that person, you have to be intentional. It has to be purposely done, and you have to do it with great understanding. So why did God put the female in the life of the male? The Bible, for those of us who are Christians, says that it is for the fact of companionship, one, and to be a help meets for that person. Now, it is not a help for that person, just help, but it's a help that fits into that person's life. I'll tell you a story. Some years back, I was behind my house in Port Harcourt servicing my generator, and this young man comes with a bucket to fetch water in a public tap that was behind my house. And having fetched the water, he said to me, "Brother, come and help me." I understood what he meant was I should help him pick the buckets, and put on his head. So I went and I stood by him and I waited. After some seconds, I walked away and he was shocked. And he said to me, "No, brother, I said you should come and help me." And I came back and I stood. And he was looking at me perplexedly. And I said to him, I said, "You said I should help you. That means that you should be doing something. You cannot be standing like an Iroko tree and be telling me to help you. You must bend down, grab the bucket, and try to lift it up. Then I will support you and help you put it on your head." That is what help means. It means that you are already doing something. So if you notice, man was already in the garden. God had already made a garden and then put man to tend that garden. The woman was brought into man's life to help man, not to help man tend the garden, but to help the man be a better man so that the man can tend the garden. There is a misconception where we think that women were brought into a man's life to help man cook, wash plates, sweep. No, those are not the things that the woman was brought into the man's life for. But if doing those things will help him be a better person so that he can do what God had created him for, good and fine. Whatever will make man comfortable is why a woman is in a man's life. Now, this might not sound too good to many feminists, but I am not trying to just downplay who you are or your status. I'm just trying to tell you the truth. God made the woman for the man and made the man for his service, whatever that is. Now, so understanding that gives you a clear picture of what you are stepping into when you are stepping into a relationship with the opposite sex. You want to help him. If you're a female, you want to help him be the best he can be in life. And in doing that, he on his own now makes you the best thing in his own life. If my car is helping me make resources, I will take care of my car. So the Bible says, husband, love your wife. Then it says to the woman, respect your husband. There's nowhere in scripture that the woman was asked to love her husband. Because truly, if you really look at it, the woman does not have capacity to love the husband. What she has capacity to do is to honor him. By giving him respect, she honors him. And that can be seen as love. And the more respect you give to him, the more he in turn loves you. Now, if you understand this, you will not have any fight in your home. You understand? The other thing I would like to say under this the purpose of relationship is that whenever you find a woman who wants to make herself the topic in the man's mind, there's going to be a problem. Man, as I said, was not designed to focus on woman. He was designed by God to focus on the assignment given to him by God. So whenever a woman begins to grapple for attention between that assignment and herself, there's going to be a problem. But if she understands the purpose of relationship, that her assignment in this person's life is to help him stay focused on what he was called to do, and in helping him stay focused, she too has fulfillment, then you will find out that relationships will work out fine. So if you understand relationship, then you will have a sweet home. So let's start with the foundation. Why are you in a relationship in the first place? Is it because of what you can gain? Now, I normally say this to my children, I said, you children are the most selfish people I've ever met. You know, the thing about children is that they don't really care how you feel. They want to eat something, they will tell you they want to eat it. They want to sleep, they want to sleep. They want to play, they want to play. They are not thinking about how you feel at that time, whether you are in the mood to do these things. So also, people go into relationship with selfishness or selfish mindsets. They're not thinking about the other person. They're thinking about what they will get. And that's a terrible foundation for any relationship. You don't step into a relationship thinking about what you will get. So when I hear young women or young girls say to their friends, I found a fine young man and he has a good job, he has a fine car, he has a fine house, he is earning well, and I think that is a man. My question is that why you think he is the man? So if you get married to him today and he loses his job, what happens? If you get married to him today and he has an accident and he's no more as fine as he used to be, what happens? Or for one reason or the other, he is no more occupying that house, what happens? You find that people begin to frown or grumble when things turn or go south, when they are no more the way it used to be. Because the reason for going into the relationship in the first place was wrong. It was based on selfishness. The only reason anybody should go into a relationship is for companionship's sake. You want to relate with another person. You want to live side by side with this person for the rest of your life. Rain or sun, good or bad, hard or soft, it doesn't really matter. But you have somebody, we will talk about some other points later, but somebody who is a friend, somebody whom you are ready to sacrifice the rest of your life with or for. That is the only reason why you should go into any relationship. Now, if you want to go into business relationship, that's for profit. If you want to go into farm relationship, that's for produce. So different relationship will yield different outcome. But if you want to go into a relationship for marriage, then it should be for companionship sake. Nothing more, nothing less. Any other thing is benefits that comes from the relationship. Children are byproducts of it. Beautiful home, byproduct of it. Cars, material things, byproducts of it. So you need to understand that before you even try to step into a relationship. Why are you going into that relationship? Another thing you need to consider is, are you dating for fun? Is it just because you want to satisfy your lust? Because yeah, there are people like that. All they just want to, they are like hunters looking for games. They kill this one today, they feel like, okay, I need to kill something else. So you find one man dating 5 girls or in a relationship with 5 people. How is that possible? If truly that person is valuable to you, you can't date 5 people at the same time. You can't be in a relationship with 5 people. You can actually date 5 people. Sorry, you can actually date 5 people. But you can't be in a relationship with 5 people. Because dating is just like you going to the shop to try to see what the shop has. But when you decide to go into a relationship, you've made a choice. You've picked one out of the lot, and you want to build a lasting thing with that person. So it is not something you do for fun. It is something you do, and you take respect for the other person into consideration. Now, another thing you must take into cognizance is too many people enter a relationship without clear intentions. And this leads to a confused and heartbreaking experience. Relationship is not like it's not just emotional. It's in law, it is called a contract when you go into marriage. and anybody that wants to go into contract must be clear-minded about what the contract, the terms and conditions of the contract. So I always tell people, before you say yes, I do to anybody, sit down and ask the person, what are the terms and conditions of this relationship? Don't be talking about ice cream and donuts and shawarma. Talk about serious issues. What do you want from this relationship? What kind of wife do you want? What kind of husband do you anticipate? Because there are people who bring their garbage and baggages into relationship. They want you to be like their father, or they want you to behave like their mother. And you are not their father, you are not their mother. Say, my mother used to cook like this. I am not your mother, so why will I cook like that? Now, most times, these ones come up when they are already married. But we should discover this before we even say, yes, I do. So we need to sit down and ask ourselves, what are the terms and conditions of this thing we're about to go into? So that we don't have heartbreak and wasted time or bitterness. And then we now transfer that aggression to other people that could have had a beautiful relationship with us. A relationship should be built on mutual respect, emotional connection, and shared values. These are the terms and conditions we should be looking at. I'll repeat them. Mutual respect, emotional connection, and shared values. It's not just about feelings or attraction. It's about having vision and being able to run side by side to make that vision possible. If you are serious about marriage, you must ask yourself this question. Is this the person aligned, or is this person's life aligned with my goals and objectives? And if this person in the future decides to take a decision away from this vision that I know this person to have for now, will it still affect my goals and objectives? For example, I know pastors who marry women and want to make them assistant pastors. Yes, it might work at the beginning, but as people evolve, she might just find out that she does better as a bank manager. Will that affect you being a pastor? No. So you let her go. As long as it does not contradict what you stand for, or it does not become a stumbling block to what you're doing, you let her go. She's still adding value to your life. These are the things people must consider before they take on this thing called relationships. All right? Your goals, your beliefs, and your long-term plans. Not short-term, long-term plans. When I met my wife, I looked at her and I tried to imagine how she would look 50 years, 60 years from when I met her. Will I still find her attractive? And I tried to, put gray hair on her head and all sorts of things just in my imagination, and I liked what I saw. And that also informed my decision. Because some people don't know that people evolve with time. As people grow older, you will find out that that 8 curve that you saw might not be 8. It might now become 9. Just big top and nothing else. But whatever the case, it should not come as a shock to you, because you already planned ahead. You already saw ahead. You were expecting that it's possible that this is the outcome that we will see. But whatever be the case, just make sure that you are not stepping into a relationship blindly. All right? Now, there are key pillars, and I'm going to give you 5 of them. Key pillars to build a strong relationship. I'll take them point by point. And these pillars are things you find in every successful relationship across the globe. As long as it's a successful relationship, you will find these pillars as part of the success story of that relationship. 1, communication. Communication. Now, communication is not just you backing out instruction or commands. That's a barrack life. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about you being able to talk to somebody and then also wait for the person to reply. You be able to communicate effectively, because sometimes we think we are communicating, but we ourselves are not doing well in our ability to pass across the message, so that other person does not understand us, and we get angry. You know, one of the things that has taught me a lot is when I started teaching children. Apart from my own children, I started taking up support classes in primary schools. And when you teach children, you begin to understand that sometimes when you think you are communicating, you are actually not communicating, because the kind of language and ideas you are passing across, or the style that you are using, is not really working with them. For some children, you need to sit on the floor with them and begin to play like children, and then they will appreciate you and understand what you're trying to communicate. To some, you have to use a different kind of term or language, or what's the word, vocabulary, to help them, to comprehend what you are really trying to pass. In fact, some people, you just need to change to pidgin. Once you go into pidgin, they understand you clearly. So whatever it will take for you to pass the message across to the other person, and for that person to also reciprocate that thought, is communication. So communication is vital. If you can't talk openly with your partner or freely with your partner, then there's a problem. I will say it again. If you can't talk openly or freely with your partner, there's a problem. I saw a relationship. I once was part of a relationship where the man always felt embarrassed whenever his wife opened her mouth to speak. Why? Because she could not speak polished English. She had not learned English that well. And then it made him to begin to put her behind. Anytime they go out, he does not want her to be in front or by his side. She was almost like his handmaid. No, what do you call it? Housemaid, behind, always, picking up after the children, always with the children, and when you direct a question in her direction, he wants to answer for her. No, I had to step in, and I had to tell him, this is wrong. It's wrong. You liked her for who she was, not because she spoke good English. You knew she could not speak English, and yet you still married her. So why are you suddenly embarrassed? Relationship is about you protecting one another. It's not about you embarrassing one another. You need to stand for one another. So you need to be able to speak openly and without fear of your partner. Misunderstandings will grow. They will come and they will grow. But effective communication kills any misunderstanding. If I ask you, why did you do it, before I flare up, I will find out that most times there's no need to flare up. But if I flare up first, before I ask you why, and you now explain, I will be more embarrassed. And sometimes ego, when you find out that you've done wrong, you are now proud, too full of yourself to say, I am sorry. So why do you start it in the first place? Communication is vital, is key to having an effective relationship. The next point, trust. Without trust, there's really no relationship. Without trust, there's no relationship. There will just be game playing. And there are people who do these things. They just play with themselves. They know that they don't trust themselves. If you talk to them, they'll tell you, I'm not ready to commit to this particular person. I will not marry this person. They know themselves that they're just playing around. Now, we are talking about something serious, relationship, moving into marriage. There is no playing around in this particular line of thoughts. So, trust is something you must take very seriously. There is no foundation for a future together without trust. Trust takes time to build and can be shattered in a second. So it's something you must guard with the whole of your life. You must do everything to make sure that the person you are in relationship with does not distrust you in any way, no matter how little. Even if it is like oh, I am on my way when you have not started the journey. Because it's risky. If you say I am on my way, and he or she says, where are you exactly? And you say, well, we're just passing Mararaba. And you're supposed to be coming from Kefi. And the person is supposed to be in town, in Abuja town. And then something happens, and the person calls you back again and says, okay, what's happening? You say, look, we had a little mishap on the road. And the person says, where's the mishap? And you say, it is before Kefi. And the person says, but you told me you're just passing Mararaba. You know, it's not sinking, it's not adding up. And because of that little carelessness in your speech, in trying to give the person an impression when you were actually not at Mararaba, it begins to build distrust. And people don't take this thing seriously. You know, where are you? I am at this junction. I am just by the house. And then it takes you the next 1 hour to get to the house. And the person says, if you were by the house, why is it taking you this long? We should take those things very seriously. Trust. Once it is broken, it is hard to build back. So don't allow it to be broken. Be honest, be consistent, and be accountable at all times to your partner, male or female. When I mean male or female at this point, I'm not talking about you. I'm not talking about male dating males or female dating females. I mean, when you're dealing with your male partner as a female, build trust. And when you're dealing with your female partner as a male, please build trust. The next thing is commitment. Every relationship faces challenges, but commitment helps it stay together. When I know you are committed to me, whatever challenges we face will not really be a problem to me. I need to know you are with me. So you need to commit. You need to commit. You know, I met a young man who was always very angry at the person he was in relationship with, for the simple fact that when she goes to the market and the money he gives to her is not enough, let's say it's short of maybe 500 naira to add to do something, she will call him and say the money is short of 500 naira. And he normally will go, well, do you have 500 naira on you? And she will say yes. And she said, why are you calling me? Why don't you just take 500 naira from what you have and add it up? For him, that was a sign of commitment, that she is part of this relationship. You know, but there are people who just are not that committed to relationship. They feel that this is my own and this is our own. You understand? And that is not commitment. And then there are also people who have abused commitment. You give them so much commitment and they just keep abusing it. Or whatever be the case, there is no relationship without commitment. You need to commit. You need to commit. Jesus Christ committed to the relationship he was offering us by dying on the cross. What are you bringing to the table? There has to be commitment. There has to be commitment in time, commitment in resources, commitment all round. Commitment must be part of it. Number 4, respect. Now, if you have 1 right, which is communication, you have 2 right, which is trust, and then you have 3, which is commitment in its place, then respect will come natural. It will flow natural. But lack of respect leads to toxic relationships. You must place value on each other. You must put yourselves in positions where you look at yourself from a very valuable position. Nobody likes being talked down on. I don't care who that person is. Nobody likes being treated like nothing. Everybody wants to be appreciated. I know sometimes my wife is a beautiful cook, but sometimes for whatever reason the food does not just come out well. And it happens because I cook too. And sometimes I put in my best. I know I put in more things than I thought that should be put in the food, and the food just doesn't just taste well. You know, at that point, I think about all the while that she has been cooking fine food or sweet food, and I use that to compliment her on this. I tell her, well done. good stuff. This could have been done better, but it's tasting good. I don't condemn it. I don't just look at her and say, oh, I mean, can't you cook good? Can't you just cook? All the while she was cooking good food, I mean, what was she doing? So yes, sometimes we downplay people's value, and that affects their level of respect or how they feel about the kind of respect you give to them. You should not toy with people. Don't play with their respect. Respect is earned, like they say, not commanded. So earn it. But even when the person fails to earn it, remember the times that the person had earned it and give that person that respect. Give the person what the person deserves. All right. Number 5, which is the last one under the pillars of a strong relationship, is emotional maturity. Now, this is very important. The way you behave when you are 18 emotionally is different from the way you will behave when you are 25 or when you are 30. So I normally advise young men, I say, don't be desperate to want to marry girls at 18. Now, am I saying that if you marry at 18, it's not going to work? No, that's not what I'm suggesting. But I'm simply saying, because women evolve with time, the way on what she wants or thinks or likes by the time she's 30 will be totally different from what she likes when she's 18. So with age comes emotional transformation. You must ask yourself, how emotionally matured am I for this relationship? There are relationships that you're just emotionally matured enough for just relationship, but for marriage is a totally different ball game. You're going to be staying in the house with this one person for the rest of your life. You're not going to be jumping around the place. Now you're in a relationship, you can decide to go to Abuja, you can decide to go to Gwagwalada, you can decide to go to Jos, you can decide to go to anywhere. But when you're in marriage, you can't just wake up and say, I want to. It's a different ball game. And if the person tells you you can't, can you handle that emotionally? Or you just wake up and say, I want to go on a vacation, and the person says, it's not going to work. There are issues on ground we need to attend to. There's house rent, there's school fees. We can't do vacation now. Can you handle that emotionally? So your emotional maturity plays a vital part in building your relationship. Love is not just about emotion, like I said. It is about handling conflicts maturely, knowing when to compromise, when to bend, and when to stand firm. Some people say, I am like this, nothing can change me. Then relationship is not for you. Because in relationship, any relationship, there must be compromise. You must be able to say, let me give this so that I can get this. It is a sad thing when I see people who want to make love to their wives, even when their wives have been up and doing all day and are exhausted. I think it's common sense. If I know that my wife has been up and doing since morning, I should just pitch in. I should step in, help her wash her clothes or wash the clothes or iron it, and then step into the kitchen and tell her, don't worry, you go and rest. I'll do the cooking because I know how to cook. I believe all men should know how to cook. It's just unfortunate that some don't. But I believe you should learn. Cook, serve the food, then wake her up from sleep and tell her food is ready, and let her eat and be refreshed. Then see if she is not going to give you love making. She will be willing. But when she is tired and fagged out and you want it because you have been sitting down doing nothing, and then she says no, can you handle it emotionally? Or can she handle the pressure you put on her? The way you nag at her, the way you get angry at her because she refuses to succumb to your desires. Can you handle that pressure? Can she handle that pressure? These are all tied to emotional maturity. So you must be emotionally matured if you're going to have a strong relationship. Well, those are the 5 pillars that will help you build a strong relationship. We'll move into to the next topic. Stay on and hang on with me.
Quartz TV. Explore the entertainment.